All right. Pre-council meeting of City of Homewood for December 8th, 2025. Councilor Simmons. Here. Councilor Sims. Here. Councilor Lane. Here. Councilor Armstead. Here. And Mayor Andrews.
I am here already. Okay, y'all. So again, we're gonna have a not so heavy agenda, which is good because we're kind of still working on our procedures. As we're sort of still transitioning and getting sort of used to this. And so what we've added, you'll notice at the bottom of our agenda, the opportunity to go through our council agenda. And the reason why we did that was because again, the procedure's been a little bit different than the way we've always done it. And so it also has been a few weeks since we've been through everything. And so this will kind of give us the opportunity to sort of remember what each item was. Not that we don't remember, but just, kind of give us one more look at it before we head into the chambers at 6. I also wanted to just kind of go through a little bit about what our calendars look like and kind of tell you where we're headed in January. So what we're talking about doing is Bo is going to send out for last call on Tuesday late afternoons. Tuesday PM.
Tuesday morning.
Oh, Tuesday morning.
Yeah, Tuesday morning last
Tuesday
call. They'll
AM.
have
Okay.
all day Tuesday to get their items in.
Okay, and so then you will have your resolutions and your ordinances by Thursday. And then Brian will post everything on Friday. And so and this is before a Monday meeting, and so what we are going to aim for January is where it's all gonna be in one document together, and it's gonna be clickable, and Brandon Sims is working with Bo on that. So just everybody, so you know that's where we're headed. We're not there yet, but that is where we're headed. So just know that on Thursday you'll get your ordinances and your resolutions, and on Friday Brian will post all of that to our website. Okay, with that we will move into our agenda, and we do not have any old business, and we will move into our new business. The first item is 01-1225, request for consideration of restricting on-street parking along the eastern side of Linden Avenue from the limits of Reese Street to Oxmoor Road. Amy?
Yeah, so this is a request that came through the city manager's office. As you can see on the graphic, we're just talking about that one side on the eastern side of Linden Avenue. So right now, there's really only a small space where you can park on the street towards that stop sign on Reese. And that's kind of causing conflicts with people trying to turn into Linden Avenue from Reese Street. There's not really enough space to maneuver all the cars around there. So mainly this will affect that 3 or 4 spaces that are near the stop sign, and everything else is pull-off parking.
Any questions?
Has this been communicated with the business owners that this is being considered?
Not yet.
Okay.
And so the businesses on Linden, on the south side, there is some on-street parking that's permitted. You can see that through signage on the street. But the north side, the only on-street parking is really near that stop sign. And then the other spaces are all on private property.
Right.
And that is like a large parking lot opening. I mean, that is a really large part of that block. That's the golf shop right there, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of curb cuts, so there's a lot of in and out traffic on the street. So
How many spaces was it?
So it's not exactly designated, like striped, the amount of spaces. Just from looking at Google imagery, it's about 3 cars that can fit in there.
Yeah, actually, the businesses are the ones who brought this to our attention, actually.
That makes sense.
And because they're coming down there, and a lot of them going north there on Linden, you can't make the turn. You can't make the turn off that.
Because the cars.
Because there was happening, there was cars parking, it looks like a yellow curb now where that house is at.
That's right. There's a portion where that on the corner where the house is next to the stop bar.
Yeah,
that is
isn't that
painted
yellow? Is that yellow now?
A portion is, but then there's a portion that's not
Okay,
yellow.
well that's the problem. That's where they were coming in, parking right there, which really created the problem.
Makes sense.
Any other questions or discussions for Amy on this item? Okay, we will add this to our agenda for the 22nd, so thank you so much. But don't go anywhere. So next item is 02-1225, request for consideration of a crosswalk at Shades Road and Westover Drive intersection, also brought to us from Amy.
So,
This is easy, yep.
if you remember from, I can't remember, last meeting or a couple meetings before then, we are requesting a stop sign to be put in here, but this is a totally separate item. This is just to strike the crosswalk where the new curb ramps are that Public Works put in.
Any questions for Amy? It's pretty straightforward. So with you all, with your blessing, we're gonna go ahead and do unanimous consent tonight on this. If it's okay with everybody, we'll do a first read, and then vote on unanimous consent to go ahead and forego that second reading, or not forego the second reading, that's not what we say anymore, just to go ahead and vote on that tonight. So, if everyone's in favor with that, does that work for everybody? Okay, okay, real straightforward. Okay, thank you, Amy. Okay, and lastly, although those two items were very exciting, Amy, I think everybody's very excited about this next item. 06-12-25, request to authorize city manager to sign contract with Sam Gaston, Rochester, Mr. Smith, and myself, and I will say that this is not a contract. Mr. Gaston will be an at-will employee, so this is really just more of an employee agreement. But I will let you do the honors, Mr. Smith.
I'm writing this down. Yeah, so as we continue to transition into this form of government, I can't imagine anybody more qualified to help with our leadership team to bring that together and set the guardrails for what we're trying to do. From a personal perspective, I've known Sam for 15 years. He's been a mentor of mine for probably a decade. And I am really excited to have him on board. I know that our department heads are all really excited. I think that Sam is just as excited as we are. If I had $1 for every time I've heard from him over the past week, I wouldn't have to be here tonight. He's just like, yeah.
He's starting this week.
He will be here tomorrow. He wanted to start today, and I told him, let's not be presumptuous, and let's let the process take over.
He
So.
can be presumptuous.
Yeah, but he's ready. There's a schedule. He'll work probably no more than 20 hours a week, and we're just really excited to have him here.
It's amazing. So yeah, I think that he loves Homewood. I think he loves our department heads. I think he loves our council, and he loves Kale. And it's amazing. It's just amazing that we have this opportunity. I got a little bit of grief from my friend, the mayor of Mountain Brook, but she also wrote a very lovely statement that we will put out tonight if the vote passes. So yeah. So any questions about the specifics on that? He is not able to make more than $38,000 because of his pension and his retirement. And like Kale said, he's going to work about 20 hours a week. And yeah.
That's great.
Good news. That's exciting.
Yeah, I know, that's big time. That is big time. All right, so if not any other questions or anything else, and so what we'll do now is we are going to vote on that tonight, so we will be adding that to tonight's agenda 06-12-25. So now what I thought we would do is just kind of go through the agenda just kind of quickly to see if anybody has any kind of outlying questions, and of course we can have that discussion there in the chamber as well. But the main reason why is because we've got a few public hearings that we're going to set tonight, but we're not going to discuss the items until later. And so I thought we could just at least kind of introduce them and just kind of go through quickly because, like I said, it's been a few weeks since we looked at some of these items. So the two agenda items that we will be adding from tonight are on there. We had 4 public hearings. And so we will vote on those tonight, and that would be the PIG, Brookwood, OLS, and the Valvoline. Not in that order, I did not say that order correctly. We've got our 2 stop signs. One is Waverly and Avalon, and then one is at the Westover Drive that Amy just talked about the crosswalk for. We've got a bid, tools, thank you. And then we're also gonna do, this is also gonna be with your approval to go ahead and do unanimous consent and vote on the ordinance that will be repealing our committee structure that we had before. So that's pretty straightforward. Any questions on that? And if everyone feels comfortable, we'll go ahead and do a unanimous consent vote on that and then vote on that tonight.
Mayor Andrews, since we're talking about this as well, as far as ordinances go, so
the prior items, all the public hearings that were read for the first time, and then the items come up at council tonight again. So they'll just come up for a vote.
Yep.
There doesn't need to be an additional reading, right?
Correct.
So we'll just-
We learned that there's no such thing as a second reading, it turns out, all this
Okay.
time. Everything you knew before you was a lie. Everything I've known for the last 5 years is a lie. There is no such thing as a second reading. I also just learned that if you've had the first reading and you've held it over to the next meeting to vote, you don't have to have a roll call vote.
Okay.
So that is something I just learned 30 minutes ago, sitting in Bo's office from Bo and confirmed by our city attorneys.
You want me to hurt your brain, you don't have to have a first reading
Oh, what do you do? Why?
publication.
Post.
But we're not changing that.
Oh, no, we're not
Yeah,
changing that, no, we're not
Yeah,
changing
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Well, it's
So-
not readings, we're entertaining.
Yeah, we wanna
You
hear
had
it.
Good
six,
job.
Yeah.
you had six the last meeting.
I did. People were clamoring for more.
Yes. It's all over
Go back,
Facebook.
on the public hearing, on the, deal with the babbling, okay,
Yep,
how we left it, I don't, are we allowed to talk about it right now? Yeah. Okay, good. You know, we asked them to take a look at that, has any, have we got any, I mean, anybody, we got any response, anything here, Kel?
We did, yes, we received a response that said, no, they can't turn the building.
Okay.
They heard the request from council. They did also offer that they would make the doors more opaque to blend in with the building so they wouldn't look like garage doors.
Well, the doors are gonna be open, so it's not gonna matter.
Right.
What
Well,
about
the
the
doors, actually, they cannot remain open. The doors are to be closed, they're to open.
While they're
when-
working?
While they're working, the doors are to be closed. And then they open when the car exits on the Green Springs side. But the doors will be required to be closed while work is being
While they're working
performed,
on
yeah.
it.
Mhm.
How do we go by, okay, obviously it's grandfathered in, okay, so I'm assuming like Omega Tire, okay, on Green Springs,
Mhm.
their doors are open, okay? Is it because they're grandfathered in, they've been there all these years, it doesn't have to be pulled down? Look, I'm a big Omega Tire fan,
Mhm.
I'm just asking that in general, what the comparison, why would they have to lower their doors if Omega keeps theirs open?
From my understanding, at least in this case, that the Valvoline, in discussion for the plan approval, they've agreed to keep them closed except
Okay.
when vehicles exiting. Am I misremembering?
I don't recall them
remember
say,
him.
I don't recall them
I thought it
saying
was
the
from the
doors had to
planning
be
commission.
shut.
No, he offered
No.
screening. He
Okay.
offered landscaping.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did he bring you landscaping? More landscaping?
He
Presented
brought
once.
landscaping and suggested that they would not be able to plant any more trees because of existing stormwater infrastructure and power lines.
But he did present
The 25%
landscaping,
increase.
yeah.
Right,
25%
the
increase,
increase,
right.
right,
Yeah,
from
but
last time that you saw.
were they, was the landscaping what we really wanted? Was it high enough? I thought they were gonna, if that wasn't, I thought they were gonna talk about raising that.
It looked to me like it was, the growth pattern was that it would be high enough, but not initially.
That's what I remember it was.
Yeah, it
He
was-
showed it what it was gonna look like.
Yeah.
And it-
It was like a before and
yeah.
after.
So now, are we talking
Like
three,
right
are we
away,
talking
so-
about 3 years?
3 years.
Like, well, we're, 3 years, that's a long time to look at it.
Yeah. And so will he be here tonight to make that, so nothing changed from the last time he was here then, in other words?
That's correct.
Okay, so he showed us additional screening, which was landscaping, but he's not doing anything in addition to what he's already shown us.
Well, so the
the
only
doors.
thing that changed have been the doors.
The
The
doors
color
are
of the doors,
opaque.
which is
Those are
not,
opaque.
which is
Is the
not something that
landscaping,
we regulate.
are we passing the landscaping also? Is that what we're saying?
It's part of the, it's
Is it
proper,
proposing it?
and so it's
Yeah.
part of what for the amended development plan, it's part of the proffer is part of that plan.
Okay,
So yes, he's held to that. Yep.
but we have to wait 3 years.
Well, there's a 1-year spot that he had that I thought was sufficient. I don't know how I think he was trying to portray the growth, and if you couldn't put a
That-
full-grown tree, they
That's
weren't.
Yeah, because it's not,
So,
gonna
no,
be-
he-
it's not gonna be trees anyway, right? It's just not what I saw on the landscaping part. Am I wrong?
There was, yeah.
Keith,
There were two, I think, two canopy trees, but they're at the ends.
Right there at the
ends.
end.
So they're actually not gonna be covering the doors anyway.
Right, he had other vegetation.
That's,
not
okay,
trees.
that's the point, that's what I wanna, if, I'd like him to get those, are they hedges? I'm assuming they're gonna be some kind of a hedge, am I wrong?
They were hydrangeas and other
That's the,
plant material.
that's
Well,
it right
that-
there, Kel.
Yep.
That's nice for about 2 months out of the year. A month out of the year, or maybe 2 weeks out of the year. You know what I'm saying? I think there's gotta be something more solid. I mean, as a hedge itself, cause that disappears. Those flowers, when those flowers are gone, and you're going right there, and they don't grow that fast. Yeah, I mean.
Is that the amended one, Bo, or the original one? Or
I think that's the
was
original.
one. Did you put
This is
that-
the second one they
That's
sent.
the second one, right?
What'd the first one look like?
Well, the one that had the
They didn't have it.
staging.
I'm hoping they can do a better job on that than that. That's, to me, doesn't cover up what, I mean, it's not addressing the issue we're looking at.
There we go.
See, I mean, I would hope something would grow together. You know what I'm saying, as a hedge potential? I mean, what y'all's thoughts? Or y'all wanna leave
I
it? Hey, I
think
mean,
you
I
know-
I honestly think this is fine.
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. I
if
do.
the flowers
I mean,
aren't there, they'll be fine? Cause they're not gonna be there but for 2 weeks.
I think you vote no. I mean, I think that is your prerogative to
Okay.
vote no at this point,
Okay.
really. I do. I mean,
I
I
appreciate
think
that.
you don't like what he's offered.
I don't like that part.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Not ask, no, because of the other part,
Yeah.
they could at least make it a little bit better, in
Yeah.
my opinion, so
Yeah.
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
That's super, I mean, that's fair.
Is that
Very
okay?
fair. Absolutely, yeah, that's absolutely fair. That absolutely is. So that we'll discuss that out there.
Mhm.
And definitely, make that
Right.
point for sure.
I
I would,
mean-
for sure. Yep. All right, any more?
One
Go
thing
ahead.
more
Yeah, mhm.
with that, going back to Nick, what we're talking about, will that be, if that gets brought up though, so is the door gonna be closed or is it gonna be open? Did we just discuss, what happens there?
That was
They can
not
do whatever
part
they want
of-
to, am I right?
Yeah, that was not part of their the
Okay,
proffer. That was
so,
not.
okay, so
Yeah.
so that's what, okay,
Yeah.
it goes back, enough said, that
So, I
answers
mean,
it.
to your point, if the door's more opaque, what's the better they're open?
Right.
So they have increased the density of the shrubs. So they're gonna plant more shrubs.
It's like 25%, wasn't it?
Other than that picture,
I mean, the picture, I have a landscape plan here. I think Brian has that also. The rendering is different than the plan, right? It just shows. So we go by this, we don't go by we go by that, right? Yep. So he has added one dogwood tree in the middle, next to, right where the letters say HW15. Below that, he's got one dogwood tree right there. And then he's got denser shrubs included in it.
instead of the hydrangea.
He still has hydrangeas, but now he has
Back row, it looks like.
switchgrass, American beautyberry, and azaleas.
No to azaleas. They're dead, they're gone. That's history. That's 1945 to 75. That's just my opinion. I'm telling you, I've been in Homewood since 1970, and we were nothing but azaleas, I promise you. And there's only about 2 people I know that still have those. One is my cousin, who's still living in the 70s, okay? So.
I'm
You
living,
got those
I'm living in the
azaleas too?
70s. Well, I gotta tell you.
You got azaleas, I'm
They're
telling
beautiful
you.
right now.
Azaleas, the only place they're good for is at the exactly.
Yeah, Masters.
It's at the Masters. That's where they're good. And they can't even make that work now.
Well, they AI it up on the screen
There you
anyway
go.
when you watch it on TV.
Well, if you do have that up, did you have that up, Brian?
Yeah.
So if you're coming down Green Springs, you have one tree on the left and one tree on the right side. If we're looking at this dead on when we're talking about this, right?
Yeah, on the
But you're
side, you're
going
not gonna
down
be able
Green
to see
Springs.
everything anyway.
You're going down Green Springs, you're gonna see one large tree blocking that door height. You're gonna see another tree coming from the other way blocking the door height. Now you have dogwood in the middle. I don't know how much, I don't know how much more before you just block the business. If you look at where the signage is, if you're coming down Green Springs either way, how much of the door is going to be a distraction to you just because you're actually not looking dead on at the business.
Well, once again, it's my opinion.
Yeah.
That's not the business I want to advertise for what we've done for Green Springs. I just be perfectly honest with you. I'm not excited about it to start with, but it is what it is.
That is something we can look towards amending in the GERD.
Oh, for sure, yeah,
Let's add that to our list of things to do in the year.
already there.
Okay, thanks.
And from that aspect too, that's kind of like where this, for the sake of this conversation, this is a plan approval, not a zoning approval. So
That's right.
we're looking at
Right.
not the site. I mean, we're looking at the site and not for the plan, but not necessarily the use.
That's right.
That's, yeah, that's right. I mean, so it's fair to.
Where are we on use now as far as this kind of business up and down Green Springs? Are we still locked in with all that?
They're within the zone.
Okay. What do we need to do to?
That's what we just said.
Yeah.
It's already on Kale's to-do list for us to look at that, and that originates in the planning commission,
That's right.
and then they'll send it to us. They'll go through their public hearings, and they'll change the usage of that in the zoning ordinance. They can do that.
Okay.
And then they bring it to us, and then we have public hearings.
And also the ordinance, the one with the, up the street, because of the doors, okay? Didn't, it wasn't like that before, they got it changed, right, for the Pet Boys or something, am I correct?
That was before my times. I really don't know the history of it.
Wasn't there some, I thought that was part of the conversation.
Yeah.
That originally, and it got swapped back somewhere shortly.
Yes.
And it got changed to where they could
They
get
can-
by with it,
exactly.
so it meets it.
We're gonna change that,
That's
yes.
what, okay,
Yeah,
that's
we're
what I
gonna
want,
change
is
that.
that an ordinance, or is that a?
That's the zoning ordinance,
That's a
so the
that's
planning
zoning
commission
too.
will start with it, and they will
Okay.
amend the zoning ordinance. Do we have to send it to them, or they can take it up?
They can take it up.
So the planning commission will take it up, they'll have public hearings, they'll send it to us, we'll have public hearings, and then we change it, and we, publish it enough time, and then we can change that, that's how that happens. But
Okay.
that's the zoning ordinance, and that's the
Okay,
GERD
okay.
district, and we definitely will put that on the list of things to do right at the first of the year. So, we'll get right on that. For sure. All right, okay, so let's see, where are we, where do we leave off? We talked about the committee structure, and we are gonna go ahead and have the first reading and vote on unanimous consent, and then a roll call vote, because we're gonna do it in the same night. So moving on to our contract with Carr Riggs. And then, okay, so here are the 3 public hearings that we are gonna set, and we're gonna go ahead and set them for January 26th. So there are 2 development plans, and then there is a condemnation. And so the 2 development plans, one of them is for a church, and for us to have a public hearing on the 12th, they would need to be here on December 22nd to present to committee, and we don't wanna put that on, we don't wanna burden them with that on the 22nd in their high season. So with that, we will move them to the 12th in committee, and then have the public hearing set for the 26th. Same thing for Brookdale, we'll just keep them all at the same time, and then the condemnation will do the same. So that way no one has to come to committee meetings on the 22nd, which Alex White was horrified that I'm making everyone come on the 22nd, by the way, which I'm not making, you all said you could do it, so that's good, except for you. Okay, and then lastly, no, not lastly, the next item is the vouchers. And so, same thing, we're just learning and new processes and everything. I've never been on the finance committee before, so Kelly Lee sends that email out. I will be honest with you, I missed it the first time she sent it out, but I've looked through them the time before and then this one. I have been enjoying learning about new vendors. And I will tell you that we order a lot of uniforms. Homewood Police Department and Homewood Fire Department, we have a lot of uniforms. And so NAVCO and Galls are uniforms, I learned. You've got your NAVCO.
So NAVCO is
NAVCO.
North American Fire Equipment Company.
Oh.
And they do way more than uniforms, we spend a lot of money with them. But
Yes.
we do have a bid list for them.
Okay.
They bid that about 3 years ago.
Nice.
So,
Awesome.
but it
Yeah.
is a lot.
And so basically,
It's
is
one
there,
big purchase and then it'll tier way off.
Yeah.
We buy everybody's allotment of uniforms,
Mhm.
typically same for the police.
we give them their allotment,
Yes.
October 1, they spend it all, so you saw some big bills, and then it'll.
Yes,
come back.
there's a couple pages worth of.
Are those bills, I've noticed also, there's a bunch, okay, but like you said, you might have a $35,000 bill, then you might have a $2,000 bill, $3. How do we go about looking at them? I mean, I'm just asking,
never seen them
how
on
are
your
those
side,
approved is
so-
the question I have.
Well-
I mean, how do you go about approving, you're saying, I mean, is somebody looking at every one of these bills
So I
to
sign
approve?
every invoice that comes through the fire department.
Okay.
Every single one, and that's kind of a personal preference for me, but, I feel like if you ask me a question, I should know what's going on, that's what you pay me for, so I sign every single one, unless I'm gonna be out for an extended time, and then I let the deputy chief step in my place while I'm gone. So, if there's anything come through the fire department,
No,
I have put myself.
I agree, like I said, you know, I was saying something to somebody before, that it's hard for me to approve the vouchers, do the approval, when I haven't seen them and I haven't read them.
That's what I'm
know-
trying to do is learn, like, if you start
it-
going through them, and I'm taking notes on which
Right.
vendors, and then so I'll tell you, I was here on Friday afternoon, Nick and I were here on Friday afternoon, and JJ and Bo were with Kelly going through the voucher system, so they've been through them, then she sends them out to us, and then I went through them this morning and pulled out some, I had some questions, Temple, Joanne Brown, Jackie Talley, McPherson Oil, Uniforms, and Ingram and H&P. And so I called JJ and he went through each vendor with me. And so really, it'll be hard the first time.
Yeah,
And
no,
then we'll start seeing it, the same vendors over and over again. And so, do you know what I mean? So then it's
Right.
like, there'll be patterns and there'll be, we'll be, in 4 years from now, you'll know all
Oh,
that.
no. Are are credit cards involved in this also?
These are POs
No credit cards?
and
These
manual
are,
requisitions.
these are invoices that Kelly has actually, we've received, we have verified what we ordered.
Right.
And what we got. These are, vendors that we send actual checks out to. These are not credit cards. These are
Okay.
actual checks that are going out.
How do we do the credit cards?
The credit cards
How
are,
are the vouchers done with that? How does those approved?
it's not, there's no vouchers on the credit cards. When we do the credit cards, that is done through a statement. We get a statement
Right.
from, First Horizon, and then we bring the credit card receipts, the receipts that we, from the department heads that have used the credit card, we bring those receipts in to Melanie, and then they are reconciled to the statement.
And that's Amazon and all that?
No, Amazon is a vendor.
Amazon's an actual vendor that we do purchase orders.
But, yeah, but when you see that, you see Amazon, right? I'm just trying to get to the bottom, because when you see Amazon, you don't see what was actually purchased, right?
There is items on the statement of what's been purchased.
Well, when I've seen them, I've seen Amazon, but I don't know what's on Amazon. It could be $7,000 delivered, and it just says Amazon. But we
Right.
don't know what's actually, now, according to Kelly, that it can be pulled up though. She can go
That's
in
what y'all look
on that,
at.
huh?
Yeah.
It should have an invoice with every single
Yeah, that's
one.
Yeah, we have invoices.
Yeah.
That's,
But what we see, it just says Amazon, correct?
I'm not.
Well,
Yeah, so there is like the PDF that is what's sent for review, and then the
Right.
backup documentation is in the cart for review for reference a lot of times. So if you have a question about an expense, you can go and look at the backup.
and then, or you could say, hey, JJ,
Yeah.
what is galls? There's a whole bunch of galls, and then, what's this one for 4,300? And he will say,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, there's an itemized statement.
And then Chief, you touched on this already too, but I was just gonna say, just for context as well, like the reason, from my understanding, there's so many uniform purchases right now is because it's in bulk after we approve the budget in September. October 1st, the fiscal year begins, and then department heads, whether it be uniform or other just annual expenses, you now know you've got that money in your budget to spend this year, and you
Yeah, and
expense a
you'll
lot of
see,
those at this time.
The way we pay uniforms is we pay as they come in.
Yeah.
So you'll see a bunch that are maybe
No,
partial.
I'm really not questioning that, trust me.
I was
No,
just
no,
using
no,
that as
no,
an
no,
example.
no. I'm
Yeah.
just going as
Yeah.
far as through the whole process.
Yeah.
You know, we're here, we see where it's uniforms, but then if it's the credit cards, we really don't see what's on the credit cards, correct?
Not in the vouchers that are sent out
Okay.
every other week.
But at the same time, we do approve those vouchers, right?
That's right.
Okay, so we're approving something we don't see.
So I guess so if Kelly writes a check to First Horizons or Iberia to pay the statement, that shows up in the vouchers, correct?
Without looking at, I don't think that, I think the First Horizon bill is paid separately once we've, because the First Horizon bill, JJ, huh? Yeah, the First Horizon bill is paid monthly.
Right.
And vouchers are done twice, a month, you know, with the meetings. And so, we don't include the credit card in to the vouchers, like
Okay.
I said, 'cause it's
Well,
paid.
so we used to, before all this, well, we had a bunch of credit cards previously, okay, 30 some odd, right? Okay, and I'm hoping we're getting it down to 6 or 7, but in the process right now, we're still basically got 17.
Well, we have 12 department heads. So every department head
So-
has one.
Okay,
So we have 12 department heads. We're not ever gonna
Well-
be at 6 or 7.
Huh?
We're not ever gonna be at 6 or 7. I mean, we have 12 department heads.
Okay, so that's something I'm hoping, Sam, when he comes in, we can get work out, because most of the other cities don't have this amount of credit cards. And because of those amount of credit cards, it's hard to keep up with all the invoices. Does that, you know what I'm saying? It's easy for the department heads to order something, sort of like when we took our trip, for instance, we take our trip, we get an expense report,
Yeah.
we fill it out, we get it, and it's done. But going by the credit cards, we don't get to see the credit cards. So if we have to approve these credit cards that we don't see, I personally cannot, I don't, in my business, if I don't sign something, if I don't read it, I'm not saying yes, I'm just not gonna sign it. Because we are, as city council,
Yes.
are the oversight committee,
Yes, we are.
and we are responsible. And that's gotta be addressed, and we've gotta fix that. And the easiest way to fix that is to eliminate and get like the other city metropolitans and get these credit cards down. And have, whether it's essential purchasing or whatever we have to do, is something that we need to discuss and get worked out. That's my personal opinion.
Anybody else? Anything else you want to add to that? All right. Okay, so now, after that, we've got our 2 items that we have added to the agenda. That's our crosswalk, which again, remember, we are going to have a vote on unanimous consent unless anyone objects to that. And then lastly, speaking of Sam, we will have his employment agreement to vote on, and that'll be it. All right.
Can we, not to bring up, this is Kel and I have been talking. Kel, are we allowed to discuss what, you know, when I was talking to you about the issue we have behind, had one of our merchants send photos and, about.
Oh, sure, yeah.
About the trash,
Mhm.
okay? And I'll be glad to send you all the photos that Kel's got also. But the Dempsey dumpster, whatever, the trash is overflowing. They got trash bags everywhere.
Where is this?
This is right behind, Henry's,
Oh,
okay,
yeah, no,
back there,
yeah.
okay? So it's loaded up,
Scott's, yeah.
and actually Theodora's called and said, hey, this is becoming a nuisance.
Is their business's dumpster, not the city's?
It's everything, matter of fact, all the businesses have their own dumpster.
Right.
We don't
That's
have,
right, yes.
so so the issue, we're trying to figure out, Kel and I were discussing, it's not our business, but at the same time, if it becomes a public nuisance.
Correct, yeah.
With rodents or anything else, then it becomes our problem.
Whose
Now,
dumpster is it?
huh?
Whose dumpster is it?
It's,
Is it
in this
Scott's,
case,
the one that's behind
I
Scott's?
think so. I think
we
it's
don't know which
multiple
business.
businesses.
That's
So-
right, they all have different companies who handle their waste program.
The long one that's back here, not the short one behind the track shack, but the long one that's right here.
Yeah, that,
So for that issue, so our code enforcement official went out and looked at it after
Uh-huh.
you and I talked, and he said that the dumpster had been emptied.
But
But
they
it was
left-
probably full and they had left all the trash. So the dumpster guys, the folks that empty the dumpster,
wow.
they won't get out and pick up the trash that's on the ground. So tomorrow, our code enforcement official is gonna get with the businesses and say, y'all need to come out and pick your trash up off the ground and throw it in a dumpster. And so that'll solve the immediate problem. But the other problem is when we have that reported to us, we can send our code enforcement official out,
That's
and he
good.
can
That's good.
figure out whose
Right.
it is, who it belongs to, why they're not coming to pick it up, and then issue a citation if it.
Because we had the same issue up behind At Home right during the open house deal, and and Caitlin mentioned it to me. Within the next 2 days, when I went back there and looked, it was perfect. Okay, so I mean, they address the issue, but for you know what? That's really bothersome because they won't get out and pick up the trash. Either bring out their dumpster. If they're gonna have 2 dumpsters, I don't know what the deal. But for them to put trash out on the ground is crazy because you open it up for rodents and everything else, breeding and Okay, I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, on this topic, as the conversation progresses, I think consideration would be because you're right, some businesses have shared dumpsters.
Right.
I mean, I don't think more dumpsters
But it's gonna help.
is a good solution just because what we want is more frequent pickups because of just like
Especially during
everything
the holiday.
involved.
Especially during the
And
holiday.
yeah, I mean, and ideally too, if we work towards some coordinated planning of this going forward, the less dumpsters there are, potentially the more parking there is. So
Correct.
so less dumpsters, more frequent pickup, I think would be a win-win if that can be coordinated going forward.
That'd be great. Matter of fact, we mentioned maybe during the holidays, it is the busy time of season. Maybe pick up an extra pickup.
Was it a frequent, a long-standing occurrence, or is this like a one?
Well, that's the first time I've heard of this one, but I heard of the one behind somewhere behind At Home or behind O'Card or somewhere where it's usually the biggest problem is where there's food. Okay, that's what the issue is. When you're back behind these other ones on the other side, there's not any other than Johnny's. I don't think there's any Savages maybe, but other than that, it's all apparel or trash, not garbage. And that, I think.
But they're having an ongoing problem with the pickup.
Pickups have been, pickups, that's everywhere. I mean, everybody has issues with that.
Yeah.
It's, they pick their time with poison. We've had a couple issues here recently around town, but I think we've straightened that all out. I think it's gotten a lot better again.
For sure, guys.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, it's all right. Come on, Ray. What else you got? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we got
Let's
the
go.
time.
Come on. I know we do have the time. We sure do.
Well, I don't.
No, you
yeah,
go,
he's
Brian.
got-
Yeah,
oh,
no,
it is
we're-
5:07.
we're pre-council.
Okay.
We're not in session, right?
Throw it at.
Well,
We
no, yeah,
are
we're
in session. We
straight
haven't
in
adjourned
the
yet.
Okay.
We haven't adjourned.
We haven't, but
We
I
haven't
have to
adjourned.
transition from in here to
Adjourned.
there, and it takes me about 15 minutes.
Okay, so. Okay, I'm going to adjourn without objection, so we're